What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. And today is not going to be a normal video. You guys know I don't really like to really dive so deep into politics, but this is where politics meets mess. And there's a lot of things that we need to discuss that don't make sense. We're not even doing a normal intro today. We are literally watching. We are literally about to see Roseanne dance as our intro. It's not a normal night.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you see. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it
What the hell happened to Roseanne?
Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
What the hell? What happened to Roseanne? What is this? I don't even know who I'm looking at this point. So, full disclosure, I really do believe there's a lesser of two evils, but I'm team nobody. So I will be digging up in everybody's butt today. I cannot. I'm team. Before we end the show, I will let you know about a resolution that both the Democrats and the Republicans passed on that would make public everybody who holds office sexual assault allegations. It's yeah. We have to talk about things that don't make sense. Again, I'm fully aware that my subscribership, my viewership is all over the place. There's people from every walk of life who watch me. But if you know my content, you know anybody can get it. I'm especially hard on people who are, might abuse children, or if there is some type of sexual assault that goes on, male or female. Everybody's going to get it because everybody's been doing some F stuff. We talk about DEI and people not being where they are supposed to be. I looked it up. There has never been a first lady who has chaired a United Nations Security Council meeting. Never. What are your qualifications to do this? This is unheard of for a good reason. That's across the board. Democrat, Republican, independents, progressives. Nobody thinks that this is a good idea. We're just starting off with the foolishness.
The provisional agenda for this meeting is maintenance of international peace and security, children, technology, and education in conflict. The agenda is adopted.
Oh my God. What is this?
The provisional agenda for this meeting is maintenance of international peace and security, children, technology, and education in conflict. The agenda is adopted.
This has never happened before in the history of the country. This is not a thing. You can't just say because you're first lady, you are going to chair Security Council meetings. What is happening? Like, y'all, you should be asking people questions. You should be in underneath like posts and stuff asking legitimate questions. How does this happen? Where are we? Meanwhile, since we're just pointing stuff out, the things that Melania could talk about, the things that Melania is acutely prepared to discuss, she's not being asked to discuss. And that's the Epstein files. Now, if Hillary Clinton did anything to cover up for her husband, who clearly has a relationship with Epstein, then sure, great. I don't care. Get them all. Drain the swamp. I really don't care. But the fact that this woman who was friends, besties with Epstein and Ghislaine is heading a Security Council and not speaking to Congress about what she knows, y'all, you have to be able to say, this is not normal. She could speak about things regarding Epstein. That would be in her wheelhouse. I'm like, you can't make, where are we? What is going on? What is happening in the world today? Why is this particular woman running for another term? She is 82 years old. You have served your country 12 terms, and I'm talking across the board, Democrats and Republicans. There is a such thing as sitting your ass down and enjoying the remainder of your life. Why is an 82-year-old running for a 12th term in Congress? Why is she making face? What is happening? Why is young Miami showing up to Morehouse, a college where she did not attend college? She raps about being a real ass whore. Her word, not mine. That's the last album was titled RAW, Real Ass Whore. These are things that we, the people, should be asking ourselves. Yes, it is elder abuse at this point to be 82 years old and still fighting in Congress. Yes. It's no longer about fighting the good fight at a certain point. And I'm not just talking about her. It's no longer the point. It's about maintaining power and control. But again, why is young Miami, Queen of the City Girls, performing? Now let's get into why we're here, Kristi. Now, I did have some people saying to me that Kristi was not fired. Let me tell you this much. I've done my own research. You are more than welcome to do yours. It is my belief that Kristi missed ride on the pony at Mount Rushmore and spent $220 million to do so was fired. And I believe that what Trump is doing is now firing people. It's called like a soft fall. What is the term? There's a term for it. And basically it just means that soft landing. It just means that he will put you in another position before quietly, taking you out to pasture. Trump had a lot of high profile filings in his first term. He's not really going that direction in the second term. But we're going to watch this first.
Why do I love these wide open spaces? They remind me of why our forefathers came here, not just for its beauty, but for the freedom only America provides. I'm Kristi Noem. From the cowboys who tamed the West, to the titans who built our cities, to the dreamers who chased the impossible, America has always rewarded vision and grit. Our greatness calls people to us for a chance to prosper, to live how they choose, to become part of something special. Anyone who searches for freedom can always find a home here, but that freedom's a precious thing, and we defend it vigorously. You cross the border illegally, we'll find you. Break our laws, we'll punish you. Harm American citizens, there will be consequences. But if you come here the right way, your American dream can be as big as these endless skies.
Okay, so I showed you guys this because it's at the center of the conversation. Before we get into the wild sex allegations and everything else, this is at the center of the conflict. I want you guys to see how they are spinning this. DHS defends ad blitz amid Senate scrutiny, says campaign drove 2.2 million self-deportations and saved taxpayers $39 billion. Now, I took the time to show you that dumb ad for a reason. After watching that ad, do you feel, honestly, like that particular ad saved us $39 billion? That ad that never even gave instructions how people could choose to deport themselves saved the American people $39 billion. What? The ad where she rides to Mount Rushmore on a horse. I can tell y'all what this really is. When you go from this and this to this, you want to be seen. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily an improvement. I'm just saying for her, you know, she allegedly has this new boy toy. Look, she wants to be seen, and it's at the expense of the American people. No amount of fillers in the world could make you a better person. I can't. Oh, Jesus. Oh, fix it. Okay, so there is a thing that they call Mar-a-Lago face. There is somebody who did something on that specifically, but we're not going to get into that. We have a lot more to cover. So somebody said to me, well, Kristi Noem was not fired. I'm here to tell you, I believe Kristi Noem was fired, and here is why.
Testifying that President Trump approved this ahead of time. Is that my understanding?
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly.
Did the president know you were going to do this?
Yes.
He did.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
This is the least of the stuff that we're about to get into about this lady. This is the least that we are about to get into. This was Trump's response. Trump says Kristi Noem lied to Congress about getting his approval for 220 ad campaign featuring herself. President Trump said Thursday that Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem lied to Congress about getting his approval for a $220 million ad campaign featuring himself. I never knew anything about it, Trump told reporters. Senator John Kennedy on Thursday that he spoke with Trump and that, put it this way, his recollection and her recollection are different. So all of the people defending her saying, oh, no, Trump just moved her. No, get with it. The man has said that is not the case. That's out of Trump's mouth. Why would he then, if she lied to Congress, spent $220 million at a time where he doesn't need any bad press, why would he then elevate her? She's now just an envoy. She no longer heads DHS, which is one of the most important jobs you can have, because not only are you doing Homeland Security, you actually are also protecting the president. And like all of that is umbrellaed under her. This is not a promotion. He is telling her that she lied. When I try to have these conversations, I make sure that I come with receipts, because people are so staunch on their own sides that if you don't have the actual receipt or the person saying it, then it sometimes falls on deaf ear.
operative.
Well, you're trying to insinuate that
I'm not
I
insinuating.
my-
I'm
yes,
stating
you
Mr. Yoho is also $3 million.
special government employee asking me to go ask him.
Yes, I am. Ask your special
Your
government
special
advisor.
government advisor.
This is on a U.S. government website that says
You know,
that contract
special
for $143
government
million
advisor?
was a no-bid contract. Public documentation says the contract of $143 million went to the Safe America company.
Hold on, there's a better version of this. Let's see. Here we go.
Greater detail, the expansion of advertising in your department under your tenure. And I believe you testified regarding some of these matters yesterday in front of the United States Senate. In particular, I want to discuss the department's $220 million ad campaign. This is the ad campaign that featured you at Mount Rushmore. You're familiar with this ad campaign, correct?
I am familiar with it. It was an ad
So
campaign that was.
I'm going to ask you some questions about it, Madam Secretary. So
Okay.
as I understand it, this is a $220 million ad campaign. It's split between two contractors. One of those contractors got $143 million. That contractor is called Safe America Media, correct?
Correct.
Okay. That company is affiliated with a former political director of the National Republican Congressional Committee. Now, yesterday you testified, I think I'm quoting you right, you said, quote, or in reference to this contract.
This is interesting. The PPDSE podcast says she didn't lie on him. She just didn't take the fall for him and he fired her. She was supposed to protect him at all costs. The only thing I would say is, do we have any proof of that? How do we know that she did not lie? We can go back to this because it's a short one. When pressed her, why did she have any apprehension from actually saying yes? It took multiple questions before she actually acknowledged that he did give the okay.
You're testifying that President Trump approved this ahead of time. Is that my understanding?
We had conversations about making sure that we were telling people.
No, ma'am. I'm asking you, sorry to interrupt, but the president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it
Did the
correctly,
president
worked
know
with
you were gonna do
OMB.
this?
Yes.
The president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured.
He asked a very direct question. If the answer was just yes, why wouldn't she give that? That's what I hear when I think about this. But if you have other ideas, let me know in the chat. We don't know. The question specifically to me was, do I feel, no, actually somebody had a comment. They said they did not believe that Trump fired her. What I said was, it's my belief that he fired her because she lied on him. And by his admission, she lied. I don't know what to believe with Trump or her at this point. I can just tell you what was said and my belief. You guys kind of have to put together how you feel about the situation. But to me, it sounds like a goddamn lie. Back to this, because this was kind of funny. This was a little messy too, in the best way possible.
The quote, it went out to a competitive bid. Do you stand by that statement?
It was a no bid contract where two vendors were.
It was a no bid
chosen.
contract.
If it would have been a no bid contract, if I'm using that correctly, it goes out to two different vendors.
Correct. So it was
There
not a
many
competitive.
media-
Let me try to explain what the discrepancy, because a competitive bid is very different than a no competitive bid. And I'll just explain why. We know that your testimony yesterday, when you said, again, I'll quote, it went out to a competitive bid, is untrue. The reason we know it's untrue is because under federal law, your agency is required, whenever the agency decides to skip competitive bidding, to file a notice with the public explaining why. And in this case,
Right.
your agency filed a notice.
Right.
You're aware of that, right? Justification and approval for other than full and open competition. Your agency made a decision not to proceed with competitive bidding. And one of the contractors that got the award was this Safe America Media company that received $143 million.
Many
right?
vendors got the chance to look at that contract and to participate in it.
Well,
So that is why the two of them were
that's
chosen.
inaccurate, Madam.
This woman, like, y'all. So yes, I am here to break it down. I've watched all of this shit. This woman sat here, straight faced, full of fillers, and literally said many people got the bid. It was a total of 4. Many people got the option to bid. It was 4. 4 people got the option to bid for a contract that was $220 million. And the one who won it was connected to her for a company that was established 8 days prior to the bid. She is, at this point, she's probably having explosive diarrhea. I would imagine something like that is happening right now.
Madam Secretary, I'll read from the notice from your agency. Given the immediate action to significantly reduce illegal immigration and border crossings, DHS identified 4 companies. 4 of the hundreds of thousands of companies in the United States, you identified 4. One of those is this Safe America Media company. Where is Safe America Media headquartered?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Madam Secretary. We can't find it. We can't find a website. We did find an address that's registered for this company. Do you know where that address is?
Is there a problem with this contract?
I'll tell you about it.
According to
Madam
law,
Secretary,
it was done by
address.
So that's, again, not the question. So what has happened now is a lot of grandstanding where people just go in here, they roll their eyes, they do the bare minimum, they redirect questions. That's where that, reclaiming the time in the last couple of years has really become like a thing. But why are you redirecting a direct question? It's $220 million, not $20, not $200, not even $200,000. You ran ads like this where you are just on a horse
And grit.
prominently displayed, and you ran these ads not in places where maybe illegal immigrants might be watching. You ran these ads at football games. You paid top dollar to run these ads where your constituents would see you ran DHS. And to be honest with you, if you are this lady who went from that to this, what you are doing is saying, I uplift everything that Trump does. And not only that, I'm going to go to Mount Rushmore so that you see me while you're drinking beer, watching football. I look like I think you want me to look. And I'm riding a horse on Mount Rushmore. So now you're thinking of me in the same vein, the same mindset that you're thinking of presidents. That's not rocket science. Just wait till we get to the wild sex allegations. It's not rocket science, people.
Registered to a political operative. Madam Secretary, the company, and I'll give you an opportunity to respond. The company is registered to a political operative in Virginia. Do you know, just by way of example, whether this company that received $143 million in taxpayer dollars, has it ever done work for the government before?
I don't know. I can't.
The answer is it has not. And do you know why we know that? Because it was incorporated 8 days before this contract went out. You want the American people to believe that this is all above board?
Yes,
that $143 million of taxpayer money just happened to go to this one company that doesn't have a headquarters, doesn't have a website, has never done work for the federal government before, and is registered apparently or attached to a residence from a political operative. And of course, one of the subcontractors of that contract, as you know, is a political firm that's tied to you back when you were governor of South Dakota. The reason why I ask these questions is that this is taxpayer money. And I presume, I don't know this for a fact, but Senator Tillis noted yesterday the way in which your agency is blocking the Inspector General from 11 different investigations that it is trying to conduct. I don't know if this happens to be one of them. I certainly hope it is, because eventually the facts will become public in this regard. And there are serious laws implicated, conflict of interest laws, federal procurement laws, that I believe
All
merit.
followed, all done correctly, all
Was it
done
all done
legally.
correctly?
14 billion impressions from that
yeah.
market.
They have asked her well, actually, this guy has asked her to reach out to her special friend.
And let me show you a photograph. Got the subcontract from Safe America or from Media Plan in South is your special work.
Every time this man says special friend, I can't help but think of this. So anytime he says special friend in quotation marks, we have
your memoir. Is that correct?
On my memoir?
And he worked with Mr. Yoho received $8.5 million, or his company did, from the taxpayers of South Dakota when you ran an ad promotion showing you doing various jobs like a plumber and a dentist, correct?
Again, that was done according to the law and processes at the state of South Dakota.
I understand, but this is a person that worked on your campaign. This is a person that worked on your media plan in South Dakota when you were governor. And this is a person who also worked on your memoir. Is that correct?
On my memoir?
And he worked with Mr. Lewandowski. Is that correct?
I don't know, sir. I don't know about the business arrangements they've had in the past.
Is your special advisor.
Special government employee.
Right.
For the White
and
House.
Mr. Lewandowski brought Mr. Yoho into your camp. They had worked on the Louisiana governor's campaign, correct?
No, I knew Ben Yoho before that.
All right. So the person that you knew, Mr. Yoho, the husband.
I just think it's funny. Okay, so thank you for the super chat. Mom Life says Representative Sidney Dove was the best. We are actually about to get onto that because this is the sexual allegations that I told you guys about. And she did it so smooth.
Thank you, Secretary, for joining us. Finally, you are in charge of protecting the homeland. And so your judgment and the judgment of your senior staff can be the difference between life and death. So I think that judgment would need to be unassailable. Why then, is the question, have you made Corey Lewandowski your de facto chief of staff who possesses an unchecked level of power at DHS? Under your leadership, this person has done things like fire your FEMA administrator while sitting behind your desk, which is your job to do, lobby to build the controversial detention facility known as Alligator Alcatraz, which has turned into a legal boondoggle costing Florida millions, and have veto and reviewing and signing power over large DHS contracts and grants, which again is your job. DHS has critical agency components like the Secret Service, FEMA, Border Patrol, cybersecurity. So does Corey Lewandowski have national security experience, military experience, law enforcement experience? No. He is a lobbyist, a failed campaign manager.
Failed campaign manager. Trump fired him.
Which is causing my constituents who are waiting for their FEMA dollars and me to wonder what are his qualifications for this job. So according to the Wall Street Journal, you and Mr. L have a close relationship that has made President Trump, quote, uncomfortable. The president reportedly denounced Corey Lewandowski as your chief of staff due to reports of a romantic relationship between the two of you. So instead, you designated him as a special government employee, a position he has had well beyond the allowed 130 days and requires him to disclose if he is making money off of his position. Trump knows that this guy is shady. Corey has a decades-long record of physical battery, sexual harassment, illegal lobbying for a Venezuelan oil company, and bringing a loaded gun into a federal building. Despite being fired or removed from virtually every—
I want to get into that really quickly. This is her dream guy. In September 2021, Lewandowski attended a charity dinner at the Westgate Las Vegas Hotel. Westgate is such trash. If you don't know Westgate, it is we'll just say, less than classy couple own it who wanted to build the largest home in the United States. And 10, 15 years later, it's still sitting there. What was it called? The Queen of Versailles. They own Westgate. Another attendee at the dinner, Trishelle Odom, the wife of Trump donor John Odom, accused Lewandowski of making unwanted sexual advances to her during the dinner, including repeatedly touching her, including on her leg and butt, and speaking to her in sexually graphic terms. Odom alleged that Lewandowski stalked her throughout the hotel that hosted the event. Witnesses said that Lewandowski appeared intoxicated, In September of 2022, Lewandowski was charged with misdemeanor battery in Clark County, Nevada court in connection with the incident. The same month, Lewandowski made a plea agreement in which he did not admit wrongdoing, but agreed to pay a $1,000 fine, serve 50 hours of community service, and take 8 hours of impulse control counseling. This is her Mr. Right. And this is not a situation where you can say, oh, you know, it was a Democratic person and a Republican is saying that, you know, there was something untoward, or it's a Republican person and it's a Democrat is trying to take them down. This is a very wealthy Trump donor's wife saying that this man assaulted her. And in 2017, a pro-Trumper filed a police complaint against Lewandowski for allegedly slapping her ass at a holiday party at the Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C. Vila alleged that after she told him that she would report him for sexual harassment, Lewandowski said, "I work in the private sector," and slapped her ass again. Lewandowski responded to allegations by saying that there is a due process and there's a process that they will go through to determine a person's innocence. This is her Mr. Right, who, mind you, is married, and she's married too. Just putting that out there so you know all the facts. Both have long-standing marriages with multiple children. He just happens to have multiple sexual assault allegations, and she just, you know, happens to have a face like this. Let's continue. Where did it go?
Every position he has ever held due to misconduct, he now wields unchecked, unconfirmed, undisclosed power over your department. This person has no experience running anything close to Department of Homeland Security or even advising someone in your position. He is unqualified, which again has left my constituents and I wondering why he is your top official. So Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am,
time.
one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So reclaiming
And
my
as an
time,
advisor,
Secretary, it is
has
okay for
no-
you to be
no
offended
authority
by
to
the
be making
question.
any
It is
decisions.
okay for you to
Has
be
no
offended
authority
by the
to be,
question.
making
But it is
decisions
also
and
a
putting up
real
your position.
question.
So what I would say
And
to
you should be able to
is
answer
that
the
what we do
question
at the Department of Homeland Security
clearly
every
and
single
without
day,
any hesitation.
every single day is to protect
If
this
someone
country
is
and to
asking
make
if
decisions.
you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate.
Mind you, we had a whole president impeached for lying about sticking his little Arkansas Johnson in a woman's mouth. And that president was Clinton. So this is a real question. And she really is choosing not to answer it, which would be a simple no. And you could move to the next thing. But you know why she can't say no? Because it is a possibility that it is very true.
That should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
Is garbage?
Because it is not about
It is
your sex
offensive
life.
that you have brought
It is
that up.
about your
So
judgment.
that kind of garbage
It is
has
about
been refuted
reclaiming
for
my
years,
time so
and
that
you
I
need
can
to
hear myself.
recognize-
Time belongs to the gentlelady from California, but it'd be nice if you would let her respond.
I will. I want to let you know it is about your judgment and decision-making. It is about the 260,000 employees that work under you that want to make sure that you are giving information and making decisions clearly. It is about conflict of interest. It is about a national security risk. Department of Homeland Security was created right after 9/11 to protect the homeland. And DHS has circulated an internal bulletin to law enforcement partners warning that the conflict of the war we're in could inspire lone actors or small-scale cyber activity inside the United States, according to a memo obtained by ABC News. So American lives are at risk. The people who work for you are at risk. And they want to know that the person at the top, you, are making decisions clearly without any sort of cloudiness. And that they're your decisions because you're the secretary who was confirmed.
You know who Lewandowski lobbies for? And who he has lobbied for? Israel. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
That's what this is about. saving the lives of Americans and not costing them millions of dollars, and not having a secretary who's compromised in her decision making. And Mr. Chair, before I yield my time, I would like to enter into the record some articles.
Well, she's actually right here. I think it's right here. Sydney Kai Kamler Dove. She was clear, concise. She got the point across, and she chose to not answer that particular question under oath. And because we on this channel are extra messy, here are some insights. Secrets from the swamp. MAGA star's mystery man spotted taking out her trash. Mind you, she's married. It says the pair have dogged by persistent rumors of an affair, which they both naturally deny. But President Trump's personal intervention in the matter apparently wasn't enough to keep the lovebirds apart. There she is with Lewandowski to her left. Lewandowski, who holds the temporary designation of special government employee at DHS, you just heard, he's no longer supposed to have that position any longer. So he was only supposed to have it for 100 days. That would require him to now say if he is lobbying, if he's making any money off of that position. They are refusing to follow the law. They are refusing to follow the law, which lends itself to the thought that more than likely he is making money as a lobbyist while working under her, working closely under her. It's almost like they're connected at the hip. Okay. I'm sorry. Lewandowski, who holds the temporary designation of a special government employee at DHS, also appears to be doing other special jobs for Noem, including domestic chores. Lewandowski was spotted in Noem's Washington apartment building in recent days, hopping into an elevator and carrying boxes down to the trash. You are taking out this woman's trash. Wouldn't that be for the husband? Haven't they been married like 30, 40 years? Why would this man, just a special government employee, be at your apartment taking out your trash in the morning? How does that even happen? But it gets even weirder. This incident, yes, they are both married. They are both married. Long-term marriages. We talked about that with children. This is interesting. And you tell me what you think. So she has a jet. It's a $70 million jet. I'll paraphrase for you. It's a $70 million jet that DHS, her former department, typically uses or is supposed to be using to move immigrants into, take them back to their home countries. This jet is not being used for that. And most times what they're doing is they're chartering planes. You don't have like a normal, nice commercial jet, but they have been in this jet. It's referred to jokingly by DHS staff as Noem's big, beautiful jet. The airplane was earmarked for high-profile deportations. When asked about the discrepancy in the plane's stated purpose and how Noem and Lewandowski were using it, a DHS spokesperson told the Daily Beast that both cabinet-level travel and deportations were taking place. The spokesperson claimed that the commercial plane was cheaper than a military plane to carry out deportations, even though DHS most often uses chartered flights as opposed to military ones. Blah, blah. It was wild. Okay, Noem 54 and she's only 54. Yes, and it does have a bedroom. What high-profile deportations require a bedroom? Noem 54 and Lewandowski, her 52-year-old aide, so she's a cougar, have for years been rumored to be in a relationship. It was widely understood that they were romantically involved, according to a New York Magazine expose last September. A female official called it the worst-kept secret in D.C. Each have denied having the affair and are each married with 3 and 4 children, respectively. Okay, but I want to get to this weird thing about a blanket. But people who spoke to the Journal said the two don't go out of their way to hide their relationship. Noem and Lewandowski have done their fair share of traveling on other planes besides the 737 MAX. In one incident, Lewandowski resorted to firing a Coast Guard pilot after Noem switched planes due to a maintenance issue, but her blanket was not brought along, according to the Journal. Y'all, I want you guys to listen to this very closely and tell me if it makes sense to you. Lewandowski fired a Coast Guard pilot who was flying the plane that he and Noem were in. They had to change planes due to typical maintenance issues, but they fired the pilot because a blanket, her blanket, was not brought along. Why would you fire the pilot of the plane because you cannot find a blanket? What could be on that blanket that would be so worrisome to you? In what world would a blanket turn up missing and it caused such an uproar that you fire the pilot of a plane, only to realize that your dumbass fired the only person who could get you to your next destination, so you had to rehire the pilot? You can't make this up. You can't make this up. I also want to show you guys this. This was another ad that she put out.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border and putting America first. Let me deliver a message from President Trump to the world. If you are considering entering America illegally, don't even think about it. Let me be clear. If you come to our country and you break our laws, we will hunt you down. Criminals are not welcome in the United States.
I went through all of the criminals. And this is why I say, usually somebody's going to be mad at me when I talk about these things. And I don't care, because what I'm showing comes with a receipt. You are doing a political ad that is going to run for the quote unquote red-blooded American voter that's going to run for football game. Are we to believe that the only people in this country that are illegal are black and brown? Because if you look at everybody, let me slow it down. If you look at everybody on this commercial, they're all black and brown.
Hunt you down.
Criminals are not welcome in
Oh.
the United
And Asian. Black, brown, and Asian.
Criminals are not welcome in the United States. For
Not one person on this commercial is white. So we are supposed to believe that everybody who's an illegal immigrant is here as a black, brown, or Asian person. Let's get into some more things that don't make sense. Why is this white man in Mexico harassing Mexican people who are protesting? Why? How does this happen? He is not a citizen of Mexico. He is a U.S. citizen in Mexico harassing Mexicans who have a right to protest in Mexico.
Policía! Policía! Policía inmediatamente!
How does this happen? What? 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 There's so many things. Okay, this guy. The guy on the left was arrested and convicted for illegally selling missiles to Iran during the Reagan administration. The guy on the right is a Fox News military analyst who thinks Iran shouldn't have missiles. They are the same person. What? Oliver North very famously had his own public trial. It was before my time, but I did the research, and yes, he was all up in that. And now you're a Fox News correspondent saying Iran should not have missiles. I'm only here to show you things that don't make sense. Let's see. The man who is replacing Kristi Noem as DHS secretary has the kind of temperament you think that a DHS secretary should have. Very even keeled. I would even say dignified.
Brian himself, his behavior, as everybody knows, and it's here in the last time, him and I kind of had a back and forth. Appreciate your demeanor today. It's quite different. But after you left here, you got pretty excited about the keyboard. In fact, you tweeted at me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. Sir, I wish you was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company. Myself and my wife was running the office because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down.
Okay.
You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond? Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If
Hold
we
on.
can't, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make
like
it worse.
thugs and
You-
bullies.
You have,
And that's
you
what-
have
I don't
the
like
right
you
to-
because you
Hold
just
it.
described yourself.
Hold it.
Mr. O'Brien himself, his behavior, as everybody knows, and it's here in the last time, him and I kind of had a back and forth. Appreciate your demeanor today. It's quite different. But after you left here, you got pretty excited about the keyboard. In fact, you tweeted at me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made.
There was
Sorry, I
another
wish
one
it
that I
was
wanted
in the
to
truck
show
with me
you
when I was
guys.
building my plumbing company. Myself and my wife was running the office because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been.
I want to give you a little
always
update
will
on who
be.
he is.
Quick.
He's a plumber, a failed MMA fighter, has difficulty with adjectives and verbs, and calls out people who are testifying in front of Congress to physically fight him. This man is going to be in charge of ICE. Let that sink in. He is going to be in charge of ICE. He's going to be in charge of Homeland Security. I'm not comfortable. Here we go.
Mullin.
Thank you, Chairman.
I hope I don't get in trouble for the music behind this.
What was we ranked in reading and math in 1979?
What was we ranked in reading and in math in 1979? What was we ranked? He's from Oklahoma, right? Let's see. Oklahoma. What are the literacy rates in Oklahoma? Oklahoma is facing literacy challenges. In 2025, there's data showing nearly 3 in 4, 73% of students are not proficient in reading. Adult literacy is also low, with 13.3 to 20% of adults potentially functionally illiterate. The state ranks in the bottom 10 nationally for education quality. Now, these are not things that I am making up. So when you juxtapose those literacy rates that I just let me show you so people don't believe that I'm making this up. Here we go. So when you juxtapose these literacy rates to the fact that Oklahoma, after Charlie Kirk's death, said that, let me see it. I don't want to misstate this. Now, Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters has announced a major initiative to establish Turning Point USA chapters in every public high school in the state. Now, you have one of the worst literacy rates in the nation, but your goal is to make sure that there is a Turning Point USA in every high school. Not literacy programs, not things that would necessarily benefit your students who are not doing well, You just want to make sure that they have a Turning Point USA. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Okay. So let's get into this war. Epstein's private messages speculated Trump might bomb Iran if cornered like Iraq 7 years before he did. Epstein's private messages suggest Trump's Syria withdrawal was a precursor to a larger military action. A set of iMessages buried in Jeffrey Epstein's released DOJ file shows the convicted sex offender privately speculating in December of 2018 that a politically pressured Donald Trump might resort to bombing Iran as a large diversion, a theory that reads differently now that Trump has done precisely that. The messages, extracted from Epstein's MacBook and published as part of Dataset 9 of the Epstein Files Transparency Act release, were sent on December 20, 2018, the same day Trump shocked the Pentagon and Congress by announcing an unexpected withdrawal of U.S. forces from Syria. In them, Epstein is seen speculating to an unidentified contact that Trump's Syria decision was preparatory groundwork for a future, larger military operation, and that a man he called psychotic would bomb Iran if he felt his back was against the wall. Trump pulling troops out of Syria is a bad sign. He is up to something, and it's not good. By the way, I believe that he's pulling troops out of Syria is a step one, and he needs a large diversion. His reasoning builds across several messages. Epstein writes, "You guys need to understand that he is psychotic and would not blink twice at encouraging an attack on us, so he can leap to the country's defense mindset. If I go down, I'm taking everyone with me." 40 seconds later, he adds, "Cornering a rat, never a good idea." He made a central claim saying, "Could be he doesn't want them there if a much bigger operation might pull them in jeopardy. Reminder, he will take everyone down with him if he feels the end is near. I always urge people not to corner a rat. They become extremely dangerous and predictable." Epstein was explicit, stating, "We only had 2,000 troops there. If he were to bomb Iran, they would be slaughtered." The unidentified contact replied, "Oh, that would be crazy." Epstein answered, "Not from his perspective." The identity of the second party in the conversation remains unknown. Their contact details have been fully redacted and publicly released version of the document consistent with the Department of Justice stated policy of protecting personal information in the Epstein disclosures. Princess, what's up, Princess? She says, "Play the video when she came to Chicago and nobody would let her use the bathroom. She was mad as ever." Send me that video. I don't know if I have that one. Mom Lay. Mullin was trying to fight Sean O'Brien, the president of Teamsters Union. Mullin is anti-union. Thank you so much for the super chat. Spiritual Gangster, thanks for being a member for 21. At this point, we're living in the twilight zone. I'm forever grateful for platforms like this and outlets for a community like us to come together. You're appreciated. I appreciate y'all sticking with me. I know this is not like the normal messy content, but I feel like enough is enough. Sometimes, you know, we have to go into like real things that are affecting people, like real things. Mark Wayne Mullins is an insider trader and just bought a lot of McKesson stock, a company that sells medical supplies. With this war, I won't be surprised if they are getting a government contract. Y'all better start buying. That's not a bad idea. Thanks, Ali. I definitely will reiterate that, let the people know. Okay. There was something else that I wanted to show you guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a person who does not, that does not look at all sides. They have record drug seizures done in January under Kristi Noem. So in terms of like the war on drugs, that is something that I have to give credit for. My issue is we are a nation built on immigrants. Well, we're not going into all that. We're a nation built on immigrants. If we have laws in place that say that somebody can flee persecution in their country, get a hearing, and try to go through the legal method. I don't feel like ICE should be going, detaining, and deporting those people because legally they have a right to come here and flee persecution from their country. We can't all be friends of Jeffrey Epstein and get a Einstein visa like our first lady. We're not all so lucky. Let me let you see. Where is it? I have the video. Here we go. Remember, this is the woman who got the Einstein visa. Hold on. We went out. The sound went out.
Maintenance of international peace and security, children, technology, and education in conflict. The agenda is adopted. The provisional agenda for this meeting is maintenance of international peace and security, children.
We don't like DEI, but we'll allow somebody who has absolutely no qualifications other than posing semi-nude in GQ to head a Security Council meeting. Additionally, the things that she could do, like the Christmas for the kids at the White House, we have audio of her saying she don't give a about them children. The things that she could do, she doesn't. So we have the head of DHS, who is a failed MMA fighter, a plumber, and not very good determining an adjective from a verb. We have a first lady who doesn't want to decorate for Christmas, even though your husband ran on the platform of wishing everybody a Merry Christmas. You say you don't give a damn about them kids. You wear a jacket to go and view the migrant kids who are in cages. You wear a jacket that says, I don't care. Like, we have to talk about these things sometimes because I know that I'm not just going crazy here. These things are all out there. We have Jeffrey Epstein, who is in touch with every figurehead, every politician, every lobbyist, telling us back in 2018 before that Trump would start a war if he was cornered. We have Trump acknowledging that people start wars when they're cornered, i.e. this tweet. Let me show you the tweet. He actually said it about Obama. Now that Obama's poll numbers are in a tailspin, watch for him to launch a strike in Libya or Iran. He is desperate. When Trump gave his explanation for the war, he said he had a feeling that Iran would do it first. There is nothing to back that. Just to be clear, you launched strikes, some killing children in Iran, because you had a hunch that they would do it first, and you did not like the direction that the talks with Israel and Iran were going in. So you chose to take it upon yourself to launch strikes. And even said, when asked about people who were fearful that American soldiers' lives would be lost, you responded, Yes, some might. That's what happens in war. Then people who support you came out because, you know, this is America. And the one thing that America can typically rally behind is our soldiers because they put their lives on the line for us. But now the America First people are following in line with whatever Trump is saying when it sounds like he doesn't give a damn about our soldiers. You have people like him saying this.
Keep saying don't send our troops to war. They sign up for the military because they know they might have to go to war. And I think it's a pretty valid reason to go to war when our arch nemesis is building nukes and they've been chanting death to America for 47 years. This is the FO part of effing around. Why do y'all keep saying don't send our troops to war? They sign up for the military because they know they might have to go to war. And I think it's a pretty valid.
I would love it if people dedicated their lives to the military and never actually had to see war. They're there, in my opinion, just in case something goes on. I don't need the military to go into spaces and start wars. I'm fine with them serving their country, being willing to do so, and not being in the line of fire. I'm more than okay with that. And I can almost guarantee you, now I haven't been in the military, but I did spend a year with the military in Iraq. And until you've seen dead soldiers or soldiers with shrapnel in their neck having to travel to base to then get to Dubai to even get to an actual doctor, I feel like don't say shit about war because you don't understand what that looks like in your nice, comfortable home. Sometimes I don't like people. This man just said, let's go to war. I want to get you Trump's actual. Trump says, we expect casualties after Iran strikes. Draft dodger Trump blasted over shocking response. Six Americans have died since the U.S. and Israel conduct joint strikes in Iran. 3 deaths were initially reported. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of them, Trump in a Truth Social video on Sunday. And sadly, there will likely be more before it ends. That's the way it is. What? That's not funny. We pray for the full recovery of the wounded and send our immense love and eternal gratitude to the families of the following, Trump said in a Truth Social video. And sadly, there will likely be more before it ends. Does that make anybody feel good? Disregarding these deaths as just the way it is a slap in the face to our men and women in uniform and anyone with a loved one in the military. What a disgrace. That's coming from a combat veteran, Senator Tammy Duckworth. That's the way it is. He just couldn't care less. He couldn't care less. We'll end on that. Thank you guys for being here. We definitely are going to be getting into this book. I have been, it's Rashana Landfair. She's the young lady who was in the infamous tape with R. Kelly when he urinated on her. I'm in talks to get her on the channel. She is a very busy lady, so keep your fingers crossed. I think we will read, maybe we'll do a book club, first few chapters, maybe we'll get into tomorrow. And then the remaining chapters will be in members only. But this lady has a story to tell. I suggest buying the book. Oh, I cannot show you that video. There is a video where a Marine got his hand broken because he said we shouldn't be fighting a war for Israel. That did happen. I can't show that because it's kind of graphic in nature. This will happen probably tomorrow. Thank you guys for being here. I'm done with politics for the day. I need to get my mind off this. I will see you guys tomorrow for sure.